Y'all are fine. Just
mine is.
At the Bob Price Auto Group, we put the focus on you, where we strive for excellence in sales and service. Come see why we should be your number one choice. Check out this 2019 Silverado for only $28,990, or leased for $399 a month for 24 months with zero down. Or this 2019 Silverado Texas Edition, only $30,990. With the Bob Price promise, we'll beat any other GM dealer's price. Visit us today or online at bobpriceautogroup.com.
Barefoot at 108 East Main in Fredericksburg can help you show your Battlin Billy pride. An epic selection of Battlin Billy gear. Barefoot also has a store full of hats, tees, tanks, polos, sweatshirts, and more. New items arriving weekly. Also adult, youth, toddler, and baby items. Don't forget the faculty discount, 15% off your entire purchase every day. Barefoot, 108 East Main in Fredericksburg, online, barefootcampusoutfitter.com.
The Inside Story has been family-owned and operated since 1981. The Inside Story is your custom decorating center with in-house designers, and the owners install your flooring too, so you know satisfaction is guaranteed. They sell carpet, wood flooring, ceramic tile, luxury vinyl, area rugs, wallpaper, paint, and much more. See the Inside Story's extensive showroom, Highway 16 South in Fredericksburg, online at theinsidestorytx.com.
Gaddy's Pizza in Fredericksburg is a huge supporter of Battlin Billies Sports, students, and teachers. In fact, Gaddy's offers a lunch special for teachers and students Monday through Friday for only $6.99, and that includes a drink. Gaddy's Pizza also has pasta, dessert, and one of the best salad bars in town. Enjoy the game room. Kids of all ages love it. Gaddy's takes pizza seriously. 2931 Highway 16 South in Fredericksburg. Billy Pride Iberalis.
Here we are.
Woo! Got the crowd.
We're back.
The crowd is fired up.
We're back.
TexasRadio.net. JD Rose, Coach Lance Moffet with you live at Barefoot, 108 East Main, Fredericksburg. You can see all the cool, if you're
Battlin Billy gear
at united-live.com, the TV stream. Yeah, you can see all the cool Battlin Billy gear. And Coach, how
coffee
you doing?
from Java Ranch.
Yeah, I got mine.
Coffee with Coach. I got mine. Repping SWT.
I am. I'm ready to roll.
Yeah, ready to go. Week 5.
Another game day.
Here we go. Yep, another game day.
Tough loss at homecoming. Tough loss there against Wimberley, 48-31. But another great ball game.
Yeah.
It's just,
I mean, we're not where we want to be right now. That's the bottom line. We certainly didn't intend to be 1-3. We intended to be 4-0, and we know that we could be. We're very close and playing exceptionally good talent on the other side. So when you do that, it can go either way. So we're trying to get everything fixed. We played well at times. You got to analyze everything you're doing and make sure that you're doing everything as coaches to give them a chance to be successful, and make sure they're doing everything as players to give their teammates a chance to be successful. And so, yeah, I mean, it was a tough loss. Outstanding. Shout out to our fans and our community, our homecoming court, the whole deal. I mean, it was a outstanding alumni presence. It's just it's a cool place to play football in Fredericksburg, Texas on a Friday night. Everybody comes out. They're into the game. Our AV broadcasting class has done a great job putting the game up on the video board and adding music and creating the college game day atmosphere that we want. And so, you can't overlook those things. You got to make sure you recognize the importance of what's going on, and it's been a great atmosphere, and hopefully it'll continue. We put on a good show, but we've got to find a way to finish with more points on our side of the scoreboard, and that's kind of where we are. And so it's we talk about it all the time. We just got a bad taste in our mouth. We're close, but we're not there. So we're turning over all the rocks and watching all the film and finding all the ways to do things better and strategically planning to do this and planning to do that and fixing this thing and trying to do that. So, that's all we know how to do.
Just get some momentum after tonight.
Yeah.
Take care of Bernie, get momentum. But really, the real season doesn't even start until after Oktoberfest weekend. So
and that's the hard, golly, that's the perseverance. I've talked about perseverance a lot this week, and I've hashtagged it on social media. And that, today's society, a reward a month from now is not what everybody wants, right? And so
instant gratification.
It's really hard to see the good, to see that we played number 12 in the state in 5A and should have beat them, to see that we played number 14 in the state in 5A and had a chance to beat them, and to see that we played number 1 in our region in 4A and number 4 in the state in 4A and, should have beat them. We're a good football team. And
so do you think the average fan, though, is starting to realize that in different sports you're trying to play bigger competition to get ready for
We've talked about it at length. This is the first alignment in football that we deliberately tried to copy the model that volleyball used, basketball used, Coach Kamen, Coach Grona, baseball, Coach Dietrich, Melissa Hall in softball. I mean, she's played an exceptionally tough schedule early last year, and it paid off, So,
I mean, do you think the average fan is starting to get it?
I don't know. I'm not going to try to get in the head of the average fan, right?
Right.
That's not
if you're an average fan, get it.
No. But people want instant gratification, and in the football world, we're 1-3. It's interesting to me. I was talking to the other coaches in our district yesterday. That's one of the things we do the week before open week, and we talk about film trade and how many sub-varsity teams they're going to have and all that. And I was talking to the coach from Burnett, and he's a good guy, Jared Rise. His name is new, first-time head coach, and their community's all excited because they're 3-1. And we're talking, and I'm like, yeah, and we're not, because we're 1-3, and he reminded me. He said, Coach, y'all are good. He said, I've seen y'all on film. He said we hadn't played anybody, and y'all been playing all these, tough teams, and so it reminded me that, hey, we got a purpose and we're okay. So
you're gonna be all right.
And that's whether the average people see that or not. That's not. It's my job to make sure that my team and my coaches
are ready,
and our players and our organization and our people understand that what we're doing is for a purpose and it's going to reap benefits down the road. And so that's really all we're trying to focus on, and trying to focus on staying positive. Human nature is bad news, right? Human nature's not good. Human nature's going to go negative. Human nature's going to question. Human nature's going to doubt. And when all that starts to creep in, then you gotta get that turned around. And so that's kind of where we are. We're trying to stay positive, trying to keep things focused in the right direction. And it was a tough loss for sure. 48-31. It's closer than that, really.
Yes,
at one point,
absolutely.
One point we had a chance to, be in the game or take the game. A typical, similar to Kerrville. We have a chance to go up 2 scores. We take the ball, go down and score. We 3-and-out them, have a chance to get the punt, go down and score. It was kind of a cycle of events that, we had roughed the punter against Kerrville. Against Cedar Creek, we didn't have contain on the right side, and they bobbled the punt snap, and they got a 17-yard first down because we didn't have anybody there. And so the evolution of that whole deal is we tried to fix it one week to no avail. We got to fix it the next week. So we fix it. We got guys attacking the edge, but they're not going to block the punt. And, and a kid makes a judgment decision. He thinks he can get the ball, and he misses the ball and gets a punter, and we get a penalty. And so instead of being 3-and-out, we got the ball. Now they got the ball and they go score, and now it's 7-3 when it ought to be about to be 10-0, and that's momentum, and that's how things change. And then we go into halftime. They kind of banged us right before halftime. We went on a long drive and scored to kind of get back in it a little bit, and then they went down and scored, and we scored again. There was a lot of scoring right before halftime, and they scored with very few seconds left in halftime, and so they took kind of a little bit bigger lead, and we come out of halftime and you go in and you're like, okay, we got to get a stop, got to take the ball and go score, and then they kick off to us and they go score a touchdown on the kickoff, and that's, I hate to admit this, but that's twice that's happened to us against Wimberley in 9 years. It happened the first year I was here. The first year, 2011, they were state champions that year, and they were up on us 21-14 at halftime at Wimberley, and we're feeling good and we're playing with them, and here we go, and they break our back coming out of halftime. They can score a touchdown on the opening kickoff. So that was probably the biggest momentum changer last week, was when they did that, because they were able to pull 2 scores away. And then, we're pressing to play catch up the rest of the game. And we had our chances to play catch up, and the coolest thing for me, and what I try to communicate to these kids and these coaches, is that the last 2 weeks, my confidence level in them hasn't wavered or doubted at any moment until the last 0 was on the clock. I mean, we're down there until we get the last week. We're going in to score, and we get of all things, an offensive pass interference. What?
Exactly.
What? So despite the call, that was 4th down, and in my mind, we're going to score. We're going to kick an onside kick. We're going to score, go for 2, kick an onside kick, score, go for 2. We're talking about all this on the headsets as coaches. We thanks to Billy Boosters, we have a really nice headset system, and so I'll go over to another channel and talk to Coach Gibbs for a minute, and then I'll go talk to Coach Wilder, and so we're planning all this out while the game's going on. We're like, okay, this is what we got to do, and when we get this, we're going to run that play. And so what you got to articulate to the kids is that's how much we believe in you. Like, we never doubt you. We don't doubt you, so don't doubt yourself, and don't doubt us, right? Because that's the human nature of it, is that doubt's going to creep in, and the oldest oxymoron or whatever you want to call it in football is to question play calling, right? And whether it's on defense or offense, well, we should have done this or we should have done that, and I mean that's what people do. And so the human nature of that, you mentioned the average fan. I mean, that's what all those people sitting in the stands are doing.
Armchair quarterback,
and so but they don't have the knowledge we have, and the film we've watched, and the preparation we put in practice, and the hours of time that we put in, knowing that it's easy to say, well, y'all should have run that. Well, okay, but if we catch the ball, it's a touchdown, or if we block this guy, he's spring. And so that's where I'm really pleased with the confidence we have in this team. I'm pleased with the confidence they have in each other. We talked about it last week. We just have to prove it to ourselves. That's the bottom line, and that ultimately is about winning. We got to win. We got to win a game. Period. But we can't press to do it. We can't press to do it. We can't put so much emphasis on winning that we think we have to execute every single thing perfectly.
Exactly.
Because you're not going to do that. And so, and we talked about that. You ought to be able to overcome an interception in a game. You ought to be able to overcome a punt penalty on a punt that gives them another first down. You ought to be able to overcome a kickoff return for a touchdown. You put all that together, you can't overcome it, right? And that's why you get a 48-31 loss. So we've got to find a way to eliminate the crucial mistakes that kind of pile on each other that create a situation where we can't overcome it. So
there was a lot of good in that game, though, too. What are some of the good things y'all saw on film?
I mean, the bottom line is we played well on all 3 phases of the game, but we're having a hard time playing well when the other phase needs us to play well. In other words, when we're rolling on offense, we need the defense to get a stop, and we, miss a tackle and sling a guy forward, or we go to try to strip the ball and we miss the tackle and the guy gets another 30 yards, and so they keep their drive alive and a first down. So we've got to be better at playing special teams when offense needs us to play special teams, and playing defense when the special teams need us to play defense. And so when we put that together, that's what I told them all week. If we can put three phases of the game together, and maintain those phases and pick each other up and not make the critical mistakes in each phase, then we're gonna prove to ourselves and prove to everybody what kind of team we are. But certainly, there was lots of good. I thought the offense moved the ball well. They were pretty good up front.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we scored some points. We put up another 30 plus points. I think, we were averaging 32 to 35 points a game. We're averaging 350 plus yards of offense. Defensively, we came off the Cedar Creek game where we, essentially shut them down. I thought we played good enough defense against their high-powered offense. We shut their passing game down. We're going to talk about players of the game later, but they had a little number receiver, number 9, that was lighting it up, and I think he had 2 catches or 1 catch for minimal yards. But that's the other thing. You take that away from them, and what do? They were able to run the ball against us better than they maybe had against other people. So we got to find the balance, and if we take this away, then we also got to be able to take that away. So yeah, but there was lots of good, no doubt, lots of good. The little kicker, I thought, was exceptional.
Absolutely,
Cadero Rojas, he was exceptional. And he's
speaking of getting confidence,
his
confidence
he's going to be exceptional. He made a 27-yard field goal. I've always mentioned that he's going to win a game for us at some point. His range is increasing, and he made his extra points, and so that was a positive too. So there's lots of good in every game, and you just got to come out with more good than bad. Certainly, we got to tackle better. We got to get lined up better. We got to be able to convert in the red zone on offense, make things happen. We tense up, we press a little bit. I think that's something that came out of this week, was that we were pressing a little hard last week. We were pressing, trying to make it happen rather than just letting it happen. So,
well, how was practice this week? It
was good.
Good practice.
Good week of practice, especially latter part of the week. Early practices in the week. We had a holiday Monday, and it was a grind. 3-hour practice, because we try to do everything in the 3 hours that we do over the course of the whole day on a school day, because we do 2 hours before school and then an hour after school every day, pretty much. And on a holiday, we put all those 3 hours together. So it's more like a training camp style practice. The freshmen come with us. We practice together. So Monday practices are always tough. This week was a good one, though. We did really well. You teach the new stuff, show them what they're going to do, and then kind of talk your way through it, make sure they see all the fits and all the gaps and everything, how it fits, and then come back on Tuesday and try to run it well, run it fast, run it quick, and then by Wednesday you're polishing and you're moving around. So it's good practice. I think our kids, our leadership stepped up. I think they felt like we were pressing a little bit. We talked a little bit deliberately to them after the game last week, and they had a player-only team meeting, and they got some stuff hashed out, and I think they decided that, hey, we're gonna get this taken care of, and we're gonna stick together, and we're gonna keep going and keep after it, and all that. So that's always a good thing when something like that happens.
Yeah, that's awesome.
They came to me after that and kind of outlined some things that they wanted to look at doing a little different, and that's kind of been my thing all year. Is it's their team, I'm gonna let them own it. So we're certainly looking at doing a few things different and warm up tonight, and we're going to do some things different. So, those are all things that, you got to listen to them. You try to force your ways on them, then, that doesn't always work. So proud of them for that. The leadership group, the captains, the leadership council, the seniors, and it's neat because you try to remind them that everybody has influence. That's what leadership is. It's not just a 6-man captain group who leads the team. It's also seniors who've started for 3 years, or seniors who were on the JV last year who've come on the program and have made an impact. Everybody's earned the right to have influence, and so when adversity strikes, everybody's got to be able to impart their influence, and so we had some really good influence. The kids stepping up and talking to each other and talking to coaches about, hey, let's try this, let's try that. We got to do things better. So I like that part of it. So, yeah, answer that question. We've had a great practice week for sure.
I love it. So, I love it.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the, Whataburger Players of the Week from Wimberley coming up right after the break, but we'll be back right after these messages.
Good group of kids.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Arrowhead Bank has provided quality banking services for the Texas Hill Country for 96 years. This time-tested practice continues even in today's technologically advanced world. Online commercial services, person-to-person payments, and mobile banking are just a few of the products Arrowhead Bank offers for your financial convenience. Visit us today at arrowheadbanktexas.com and try us out for safe and sound banking technology. Arrowhead Bank, a better brand of banking since 1923. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Dutchman's Meat Market in Fredericksburg is the place for premium meats. Not only can you find the best cuts of meat, but Dutchman's has fresh sandwiches for lunch, a variety of snack sticks, multiple jerkies, and dried sausage. Dutchman's also has a large assortment of rubs, spices, and sauces for all your meats. So go see Dutchman's at 1609 East Main in Fredericksburg, or call in an order at 830-997-5693 or online at dutchmansmarket.com.
Don't forget the poppers!
Hill Country Refrigeration has provided the Texas Hill Country with quality heating, air conditioning, and commercial refrigeration service for 45 years. They offer dependable, friendly, and professional customer service. Hill Country Refrigeration can also assist with new construction design and installation. Hill Country Refrigeration, customizing comfort in the Hill Country since 1974. Call 830-997-2584. Online, hillcountryrefrigeration.com. License number TACLB 005208C.
Hey volleyball fans, Joseph Financial Partners is here to support the Battlin Billies and to help you with all of your financial goals. Whether it's saving for retirement, college savings, or even life insurance or long-term care, we've got your back. Let us serve up an appointment with you, then dig into your finances, goals, and dreams. Hey, and then we can assist and set a plan in motion and spike your goals to score. Success takes teamwork, so call Joseph Financial Partners at 830-997-4763 or check us out online at josephfinancialpartners.com. Securities are offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA.
Weird.
Look at them pretty people out there.
Wow, we got a nice crowd.
Look at all them pretty people. We got a bunch of pretty people in here.
Thanks for being here.
Excluding me.
Yeah, me too.
We're back.
Face for radio, yes?
Yeah, I got a face for radio and a voice for newspaper.
There you go.
We're at Barefoot, 108 East Main, Fredericksburg. J.D. Rose.
Yep.
Coach Lance Moffet with you here. Get all your Battlin Billy gear here. But big game tonight against Bernie. Yep. That's going to be a dandy. And then a bye week. And then district starts. How about the Whataburger Players of the Week from last week, Coach?
Certainly. Shout out to our sponsors, team dinner sponsors. We had our team dinner this week at Auslander. Quite the affair, I understand. I went to Mason to watch our JV White team play, but I think they had a really good time. West End Pizza's part of that, Backwoods Barbecue, and Airport Diner. So we appreciate them for helping our kids have some more time to spend together and build their chemistry. So the Whataburger Players of the Week, we'll get right into that. JV Red Player of the Week last week, number 7, Mason Ray. Just an amazing young man, plays corner, plays wide receiver, loves the game of football, and does a great job. He had a great game last week, plays hard. He's a guy that, you know, if this injury were to happen or that injury to happen, he'd probably be, you know, the next guy to come up to varsity in his position, plays cornerback, and just does a great job and is always positive and played a really good game last week. Then JV White Player of the Week was Quattro Rodriguez, number 9. Kind of plays every position, a little bit of running back, a little bit of slot receiver, a little bit of safety, and makes plays kind of all over the field. I'll talk about what they did. Last week they didn't do so well in Mason. They got beat pretty bad in Mason, but last night they rebounded and played really well out there again. And then our freshmen, the coaches were adamant that we give 2 this week. Charlie Johnson and Sammy DeLuna both played really well last week in the games against Wimberley, and just did a good job, and they were, you know, just getting better at football every time they play and gonna, you know, make an impact. I get a chance to talk to the sub-varsities every single day, and I remind them every day, your job is to prepare for Friday night. And that may not happen for you next year. It may not happen for you 2 years. It might not happen until you're a senior. But your job every day is to get prepared so that you can step on that field and make an impact as a senior. And so, on the varsity. And so they're certainly doing that. They understand that. I've alluded to it a lot. You only get better at football by playing football. And so I think our coaches are doing a great job of having the 90 or so kids that are on our sub-varsity get the opportunity to play football. And I'll talk about that at length when we get to the results from last night. But varsity players of the week, special teams was Javier Rodriguez. This kid, man, I love that kid. First of all, you look at his picture right here. That dude always has a smile on his face. He is a positive dude. And so sometimes when things aren't going well, man, I'll turn from the field and I want to find Javi on the sideline if he's not on the field, because he's always got a smile on his face. He's always doing something positive, and he's got a little bit of an edge about him. I mean, he will knock your head off. He'll chop your legs out. He's going to make a play. He runs the ball really well at running back. He plays a really good safety. He's given us the opportunity to be able to spill some other guys so that they're not having to play so much both ways. And that was one of the things that when you came into the season, we knew that we were going to have several kids that were going to have to play both ways a lot. And Javi has played good enough safety that really when we played Cedar Creek, I don't think Jarrett Beard played that much on defense. And certainly Jarrett Beard is an outstanding player, but if he's able to conserve his energy on offense so he can play offense, we're a lot better on offense, right? So Javi has been able to plug in some of those holes where we weren't sure about, because he was, on the freshman team last year. He's a sophomore, great kid, doing a great job, and he made some big hits on special teams. Defensive player of the week, defensive coaches wanted to name two. I alluded to number 9 for Wimberley earlier. Judd Beard, number 6, defensive player of the week. I mean, he locked that dude down, and he has become our lockdown corner. If the other team has a exceptionally good wide receiver that plays on the out, then we're going to put Judd on him, and he's going to lock him down. And that kid was arguably their best receiver. Had scored a bunch of touchdowns and all this, and I may have been wrong on the number, but Judd essentially shut him down. I think he maybe caught 2 balls, and our pass defense I thought was outstanding against Wimberley. And then of course Luke Duderstadt, again 2 weeks in a row. Can't say enough about him. So proud of him. So happy for him because he's worked so hard and he's put so much into the program. Talked about program kids before. He's been in the program his entire time. He's at St. Mary's in middle school, worked his tail off, and as a senior, he's reaping the benefits of putting in the hard work over the years. He's been our most productive defensive player the last 2 weeks. He had a couple of big plays on sacks when we needed him to get a sack, and so just really proud of him for what he's doing and what he's got going on. And then offensive player of the week, no surprise, we went with an offensive lineman this week, number 57, Jack Gallagher. Jack is a 6'6", maybe closer to 6'7" now. Seems like he keeps growing. Runs a 4.9 and has matured into the kind of player he needs to be. He has graded out the best each week on our offensive line. He's got the highest grade, and he just plays a solid tackle position for us. He also starts on defense. A couple of weeks ago against Tivy, he had an exceptional game on defense. So he is certainly living up to his recruiting status, if you will. And when you're 6'6", that's what's going to happen. And he's really worked hard to get there and put himself in a position. And so just real happy for him. And I love it when a lineman is the player of the week.
Yeah, me
because
too.
Those guys, they put in all the work and nobody ever sees what they do. They only see when they don't do their job, right? When the quarterback gets sacked or something bad happens, typically that's when people know the lineman didn't do their job. But, when you score a touchdown, it's always about them, and so proud of him and proud of what those guys are doing. So
good stuff.
Players of the week.
Let's hear it for the Whataburger. Players of the week, man.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Yep.
Back home again. 2 home games.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row. It's awesome. Great crowd.
A rivalry, if you will. Bernie.
Our old friends from Bernie.
Bernie coming to town tonight.
Is that too sarcastic or facetious or whatever the English language word is?
But it's a non-district game. But, man, this should be a good one tonight and try to get that momentum, like we said, going into the district.
No doubt. It's always a big game when we play Bernie. I would argue that they're our biggest rival, have been the entire time I've been here. And so it's always a big game. We haven't had great success against them on the football field. We certainly have in other places, but we've only beat them once, so we certainly are hungry for a victory. Not only we're a victory this year because we need a victory right now, but a victory because we haven't beaten them in a while. So golly, we're just not going to make much ado about them, though, because it's about us, right? It's not about them. I mean, certainly it's a rivalry, and they're as good as they always are. They're 4-0. The new coach came in last year, kind of changed the way they do things in terms of offense and defense, brought in a whole new staff. And so really, I don't know. Somebody asked me about the rivalry, and I don't know if their staff has any history with the rivalry. There's been some times where we've had some flamboyance of the rivalry, if you will. We've had some students who have stoked the flames of the rivalry through their flamboyant behavior. Is that a nice way of saying it?
That's a good way to put it. Nice way to put it.
And so, that hadn't happened in a few years. Certainly when we play them in volleyball and basketball and baseball, and the atmosphere is always electric. It'll be the same in football, but I don't know if there's that deep-seated rivalry hatred that maybe we are developing against Kerrville, right? That's kind of the thing. We talked about that before. So, but Coach Hendrick, like I said, does a good job. They're good. I mean, they're a good team. They've got a sophomore quarterback that's already committed or already got an offer for a D1 at Lamar. He was a freshman quarterback last year. He's a dual threat, plays kind of run and pass, got a really good arm, and runs their offense well. Their offense is kind of a mirror of our offense. It's a two-back, it's a one-back, it's a trips, it's a doubles. They'll get in a tight end set. They get down on the goal line. They'll get in 2 tight ends and 3 backs. So they're not afraid to do power football as well. And that's kind of the biggest thing that's changed in the last 2 years with them. Prior to that, they were very much a finesse, throw it around the yard, kind of a football team, and now I think they want to be more of a power, run the football, balance, and throw the ball kind of a team. So very good at that. They played some good competition. They beat Medina Valley 7-6. They beat Yoakum pretty good early in week 1. Last week they beat Harlandale 14-12. It got canceled after half of the second quarter because of lightning, so they didn't finish the game. So they've actually played 3.5 games, if you will. So, and then they played Holy Cross at home. So they're a good team, no question. I think they're the favorite to win their district. And for years they were in our district, so they got to go south, and they're the favorite to win their district. And they're always good defensively. They do a great job of coaching. They've got a really good group of linebackers. They always have really good DBs, and they run again, I said they're very similar to us. They run a similar defense to us. They're going to be an even front with 4 down linemen, and if we've got 2 backs and a tight end, they're going to have 7 guys in the box with 3 linebackers in the box. They're going to play a cover 2/cover 4 shell behind it. Sometimes they'll bring a safety down and give you a cover 3 look or a man look, not very much. But when they want to stop the run, they're going to stop the run, and they're definitely committed to it. They're going to try to have 7 guys as close to the box as they can get most of the time. So.
What about special teams?
Special teams, they do a good job. They always do that. They always have a really good kicker that booms it out of the end zone and that kind of stuff. I hadn't seen that this year. Certainly, he's good. He directionally puts it where he wants it, and can do whatever they need him to do. Their punt game is really good. They're very consistent. They do a punt game like us. They'll line up in their offense, and so they force you to line up in your defense rather than line up in a punt return. So they kind of take away your ability to try to get a return or big momentum change on a big return. So, overall they're solid in all 3 phases. And again, they're 4-0. So, enough said. We're 1-3 and they're 4-0. So I don't think anybody in the state of Texas will expect us to beat them tonight, except us. And we certainly are going to give it our all and have a good plan going into it.
Should be one heck of a game tonight.
We've done some specific things to address some issues that we've struggled with the last couple of weeks. I'm certainly not going to divulge those on the radio or on the TV. So, but we definitely have been coaching and paying attention and listening to our players, as I mentioned before. And so, the big thing with us and them from our perspective is we've been slow starters against them. Last year it was 35-7 at halftime. Final score was 42-35. Right? I mean, we almost pulled off the greatest comeback in the history of high school football. Almost, right? Horseshoes and hand grenades. Almost is where that counts, I guess. But we know we can play with them. And I look back 2 or 3 years when my son was a senior. We played over there, or maybe he was a junior that year, and the same thing. I mean, we spotted them 21 points because we made mistakes, and you just can't dig your way out of that. You know, you do that and you can't dig your way out of that. So you know, we're going to start. That's been one of our things all year, has been we want to start, and I'm proud to say we have. I mean, we've scored on most of our first drives this year. You know, last week against against Wimberley, we took the ball right down the field. We kicked the field goal, kind of stalled out in the red zone, but we were able to kick a 27-yard field goal. A couple of weeks ago against Tybee, we stalled out on our first drive, but the second drive we went right down the field and scored. And so, you know, we want to be able to start fast and get up and battle. You know, that's the thing we got to be able to do. So
start fast, finish strong.
Yeah, no doubt. But they're certainly a good team and a good opponent. And again, you know, just like every week, we're preparing for 2 weeks from now when we play Liberty Hill in that opening district contest. So they're definitely a good team, and we're going to try to get after them.
All right.
Yeah.
We're going to talk sub-varsity, find out how they did last night. And
it's a good night.
Oh, man, I'm glad. I'm anxious to get to that here in just a little bit. But right now we're going to take a break. We're Barefoot 108 East Main, Fredericksburg. Coffee with Coach, united-live.com, texasradio.net.
(1965) offers the Texas Hill Country assisted living, long-term care, and physical, occupational, and speech therapy. Canop Healthcare is family-owned and operated with skilled nurses in every department. Plus, they offer the Hill Country memory care. Find them at canophealthcare.com or call 830-997-3704.
Hills of Texas Homes in Fredericksburg designs homes for you built by engineers. The Stevens family does everything in-house to build your home, so no outside architect or plan designer is required. When you're building the home of your dreams, that's peace of mind. Hills of Texas Homes has won numerous awards from the Hill Country Builders Association and Parade of Homes. Hills of Texas Homes will work with you through the entire building process. Call 830-889-7900 or visit hillsoftexashomes.com.
When you have an accident in that vehicle you rely on, there is peace of mind in the Hill Country. Lance's Body and Paint, they offer all types of collision repair. They work with all insurance companies. Lance's Body and Paint is iCar certified, so you know you're getting the latest repair technology in Fredericksburg and in the Texas Hill Country. Lance's Body and Paint, Highway 290 East in Fredericksburg, supports our Fredericksburg Battlin Billies. Call 830-990-2900.
Touch Well Service will take care of all your water well needs that come after drilling. They specialize in water pump installation and repairs, servicing windmills, solar pumps, jets, submersible pumps, and pressure tanks. Touch Well Service has been in business since 2002 with 83 years combined experience. Their entire staff is dedicated to their customers. Touch Well Service supports all men and women in the United States military and first responders. Touch Well Service, 830-997-2413, on the web, hillcountrywaterwell.com, and look for them on Facebook.
We're back.
Shot of the crowd.
There's our crowd, the home crowd.
I love the shot of the store.
I do too.
This
is really cool, man. This is fun. This has been a good deal.
It is. It's fun.
It's cool.
Loving it.
Yep.
Well, sub-varsity, now you got me excited.
Yeah,
Great
so
night, huh?
so you know, I'm the storyteller. So the story is the JV white team went to Mason last week and got beat 32-0, and of course we agreed to go back this week. And so when you get beat the first time 32-0, you're not sure if you want to go back, right? And so it's all about the approach you have. And so I came in on Friday last week and I asked the coaches, I said, you know, do y'all want to go back next week? Do we want to, you know, Bernie's got not enough to have a whole team, but they had enough that we could have played a fifth quarter after each game, after the freshman game and after the JV game. And they both coaches, Coach Hanley and Coach Smith, immediately said, "No, Coach, we want to go back. We want to have some redemption. So that was their theme. They coached them up. They talked about that all week. Coach Hanley met with them, showed them the film of last week's game, and so I thought, well, and we didn't have any games at our place last night. Our middle schools played on Wednesday night. I'll talk about them in a second. Extremely pleased about what's going on over there too. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to go to Mason and watch the JV white team play, and that's, typically JV and freshman red are playing over at Bernie, and I'd take Coach Wilder and we'd go watch or whatever. And I thought, I'm going to go to Mason. I hadn't been to a game in the Puncher Dome. That's the name of their stadium over there. They've got all that tradition.
Cool old stadium. Yeah.
It's really neat. It used to be a racetrack, and they turned it into a football field. So it's covered on their side, and the bleachers on our side are really high, and it's really neat. It's a neat atmosphere. But they tied 14-14, and it was an awesome deal. I'm driving into town. Of course, I left late as always, and sorry, DPS, I'm speeding to get there because I want to get there on time. And when you get about halfway, you start to catch the radio. And in Mason, Texas, football's a big deal. I mean, they broadcast the JV games on the radio. And so our first series, I'm listening, and we kick off to them, and they take the ball, and they go on this real methodical long drive, and they score. And I get there, and it's 8-0. And I get on the sideline, and coaches are coaching their tails off and whatever. And then, next thing you know, we score. It's 8-6. We miss the extra point. Go to halftime. Come out. Back and forth. They make some mistakes. We make some mistakes. Late in the fourth quarter, about 3 minutes left, we score. We go for 2. We're up 14-8. Everything's looking good. We onside. We don't mean to, but we try to pooch kick. We recover it. Of course, there's the phantom flag from their sideline. We're offsides, right? So we have to do it again. We're fortunate to do it again, and we get the ball back, and all we have to do is run out the clock, and then, we make a couple mistakes. They get the ball back, and they score right at the end to tie it up. But they showed so much resilience and battle, going from 32-0 one week and tying 14-14 the next week is just unbelievable. And they played their tails off. Logan Love caught a touchdown pass. He's a kid that played quarterback in middle school, plays defensive end, and it was his first ever receiving touchdown. He had scored a touchdown playing quarterback, I think, before, but it was a huge play. It was kind of a must-have deal, and we threw it deep, and he caught it. And so just really proud of them and Coach Hanley and Coach Smith, because they really they kind of gave those guys an identity, and that's hard to do with those guys because they're kind of mixed. They're mixed with some freshmen and some sophomores, and they don't always get to practice together, and so it's hard to create some team chemistry. But they did a really good job last night. Extremely proud of it. All the parents had huge smiles on their face, and the kids were so excited. And the best part was they were disappointed that they didn't win. Like they were hurt that they didn't win the game. And so keep competing, keep playing, and keep getting better. And then rewind to Wednesday night, we played Medina Valley's middle school teams. Our 8th grade teams played here. Our 7th grade teams traveled. Both 7th grade teams won in, I don't want to say dominant fashion, but 20-8 and 28-12, something like that. And then our freshman white team won at home, and then our freshman red team tied, which they were talking about going to overtime, and played their tails off, and had a chance, and just a really good game. So the middle school now is 9-2-1 on the season. So they've got 2 losses in the whole program and 1 tie. So really excited about the future. Of course, shout out to St. Mary's and Coach Lott. Those guys are rolling now too. They suffered a 6-0 loss to start the season, but they've won every game since, and they're rolling too. So really excited about what the middle school is going to bring to the high school next year, and what the coaches are doing. Coach Stafford and his group are just bringing positivity to the program, and the kids are excited about playing. They're excited about being around it, and it's going really well. Our freshmen fell last night. They played a really tough Bernie team, and one of our better players got hurt early in the game, and so I don't want to say early, but he wasn't able to finish the game. And when that happens, you're in a bind a little bit. We went down and scored. We stopped them, and we were going down to score again. We turned the ball over. They go down and score, and it's kind of back and forth from there. But they ended up beating us 40-28. At their place. So it was disappointing. Those guys don't like to lose, and they're upset about the fact that they lost, but they're going to battle back next week. And then our JV red team won 22-0 over a really good Bernie team as well at Bernie. So it's
a good week. Yeah,
it's a good week. That's a hard place to play for sure. Our varsity certainly knows that. And when you go over there, it's a raucous environment, if you will. They're getting after you pretty good. So real proud of our sub-varsities, our coaches, our kids, and how they performed this week all the way around.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's hear it.
Yep.
Well, tonight, Bernie, looking forward to it. What's it going to take to get this W tonight?
Not pressing is the most important thing. When I go back today, we've already started talking about fear creates doubt. You got to have faith in the face of fear, right? I shared some of our Bible study with my team today, and when you're fear creates doubt, you got to have faith. You got to have faith in each other. You got to have faith in God. You got to have faith in whatever you believe in, and you got to know that the results already been determined. So all you got to do is do your very best, and whatever that is, and so we're going to emphasize to our kids: don't press. Stay positive, pick each other up, and when the bad things happen that are going to happen in every single football game in the history of mankind, unless your team is a varsity team playing a peewee team, right? Unless you're just so much more dominant than the other team, then something bad's going to happen. And how you respond, how you have each other's back, how you have faith in each other rather than fear in losing, that's the message that I want them to hear today, and that we're going to be there for them.
That's one of the beautiful things about sports. It is the life lessons.
It is.
There's so many life lessons in sports.
No, that's what it's all about. And so certainly we've talked about this before. Navy SEALs say that you don't rise to the occasion, you fall to your training. And one thing that I can tell you about this group is this group has trained well. They train well every day. They understand the importance of practice. They know the little details that matter. And so instead of pressing and worrying about scoring every time we're on offense or stopping them every time we're on defense or whatever every time on special teams, compartmentalize one play at a time into doing your job the way you were trained to do it. And then if you do that for 150 plays of a football game, then at the end, you're going to have a shot to win. And that's all you can ask for. And I, from a coaching perspective, that's all I can ask out of a team. And we've done it every single week. We're there in the fourth quarter when it matters, having a chance to win. And that's different than what we've done some years. Some years, by the time the fourth quarter rolled around, the game was over. One way or the other. Sometimes we were on the wrong end, and sometimes we were on the right end. But
you're right. This year, every game you've been in every game.
In football, all you can ask is have a chance to win at the end, and then don't press. Find a way to get it done, and the way to get it done is in your training. What have you been trained to do? Do your job. I've referenced that I listen to Tom Herman a lot at Texas, and that's his thing: is do your job. Do your job. Whatever your job is, all the different 11 positions have a different job on every play versus every offense versus every defense versus every kicking situation. Do your job. And if you do your job, you're going to be successful. And that's kind of what that's the key to victory. What does that look like? Don't turn the ball over on offense. Force turnovers on defense, tackle well, run to the football, offensive lineman, get on a body and stay on a body. I already mentioned take care of the ball. Stay ahead of the chains on offense, Stay ahead of the chains. If we can get 3 to 4 yards on every play, we're ahead of the chains. Your play sheet narrows a lot when you don't stay ahead of the chains. If you go backwards, you create a penalty, and now you're in 1st and 15. That's a little different than being 1st and 10 or 2nd and 4 or whatever. And then special teams wise, certainly, we've got to clear up a lot of things. I'll give some kudos to Coach Renaud. He's worked really hard this week. And we've gotten some things fixed in special teams. So we just have to be able to be, the benefactors of our training.
How do you as coaches address penalties? Because penalties have kind of been a little thorn in your side. As well. So.
You had to ask me that, right?
Well, I
think everybody in town knows how I address penalties, right? I'm screaming and hollering. I'm taking my headset off and throw them down and yell and holler at the officials. I showed that side of myself last night at the JV White game because, most of us in the Hill Country, we don't get our officials from Austin or San Antonio or the big cities for our sub-varsity games. We get them from our local guys. And so when the other team comes to town and they say, well, you're paying the officials. Well, first of all, yes, we are paying them. We have to pay them. They're getting paid to do a job, so we have to pay them. But then number two, they probably all went to our high school, right? They all graduated from our high school. So they're kind of on our side. They want us to be successful. And when you go to Mason, it's the same way, right? So yesterday, there's a bunch of good old boys from Mason calling the game, and so I'm screaming at them, and they made several calls to kind of turn the game around. But really, what I've tried to work on this year is I'm learning that kids react to me. And if I react with doubt or fear, like we just talked about, then that bleeds off to them. And so what I've tried to do this year is not react in that manner. I've always tried to build a relationship with the referees, the officials before the game. We feed them really well. We put them in a really nice locker room. They've got nice AC. We make sure it's really cool in there. We make sure they have really nice food. We ask them, do you want it at halftime or do you want it after the game? Can we take care of you? Before the game, I get to know each of them personally, first name, how you doing, ask them about their family, whatever. And then during the game, it's on, right? It's on. And last week, we got caught up a little bit. I knew that Wimberley, they were penalty prone. We watched them play Canyon Lake, and they committed a bunch of penalties. There was a lot of flags. And so in our scouting report, we talked about it as coaches. We said, look, man, they're chippy. They do things deliberately. They run their routes in a way that when their receivers are crossing, they rub each other so that we'll run into each other or they'll run into our guy. They do that on purpose. And on defense, they do the same thing. They'll tackle your receivers after 5 yards. You can play tight man coverage and butt them or whatever, but after 5 yards, you're not supposed to do that. Well, they do that. So, and then they also did a deal where their linemen would cheat the box, meaning they'd move back as far as they possibly can so they have more time to deal with your defensive linemen. And so, I don't typically complain in the pregame deal, right? But last week I referenced those things and I said, hey, let's make sure we're paying attention to these things because we've seen on film that they do that. And of course, what happened, they call those penalties on us, right? so lesson learned, man. I'm like, okay, I'm not saying anything to them ever again because they did call that penalty on us. They called offensive pass interference on Jacob Lee's. And you go back and watch the film, and they're mauling. They have two guys who are wrapping up Jerry Beard like this, and they call a penalty, and Jacob Lee's didn't even touch anybody. And I'm going, what? And so certainly you got to react to that the right way. And so that's the deal. They had 15 penalties, and we had 11, and that's a huge 26 penalties in a game.
26, that is a lot.
That's a lot of penalties in a game. So we got our stuff fixed. Our stuff was, one time, I'll give you an example. We ran an overset where Jacob Winicky was supposed to be on the line, and he was supposed to cover up Christian Aviles. Christian Aviles was a tight end, and then we had both Beards on the other side, and they're off the ball because one of them's going to go in motion, right? Well, the receivers always get lined up, and then they turn to the official, and they say, I'm on. And that means they're on the line, or they say, I'm off, which means they're off. So Jacob says, I'm on. And then the official tells him to back up. Well, our kids are so good. This is one of our weaknesses. Our kids are so compliant. They're going to do what adults tell them to do, right?
Right.
So Jacob backs up, He uncovers Christian, and now we got too many people in the backfield. You have to have 7 people on the line, and we run the play, and the guy throws a flag. What? You just told him to back up, and now you're going to throw a flag? Like, what?
Yeah, that makes no sense.
So, those kind of things are very frustrating because you're trying to do that to make them miss a line, right? And then, Jacob did a good job. Joshua, sorry, Josh. I've been calling you Jacob. That's his older brother. Joshua did a great job of doing his job, and then the official told him to back up. He backed up, and we got a penalty. And then that kind of led to 2 or 3 other penalties for the same thing, lining up wrong, not being too many guys on the line or too many guys in the backfield, not enough on the line. So, it's just one of those things that we got to be able to react to it the right way. Me personally, because I'm the one that talks to the officials. I try not to let any of my coaches talk to the officials, just because I want them focusing on the game. I don't want the kids to ever use the officials as an excuse. Right. And so I don't want to reflect that it's their fault that we didn't do that on that play or we didn't win that game because of the officials, because that's not a good thing to do. That's just not good. So I want to make sure that I'm reflecting the right way with them. I try to call all the timeouts, and just make sure we reflect the right way. And hopefully our coaches are seeing what's going on, and they're telling me what's going on because I can't see it all from down there. So I've got 2 or 3 different coaches telling me different things. Well, this is what happened, and that, and he was on the line, but then he backed up, and the guy told him to back up, So we kind of knew that was what was going on, and so you just got to listen and reflect on that, and then you got to reflect the right way. And it's just like we said about turnovers earlier. Our kids have to be able to overcome the humanity of officiating, right? Because they're all humans. We're all flawed and sin, and none of us are good at what we do because we're humans. So they're going to make mistakes. So we got to be able to overcome those mistakes, and that's what we want to teach them in regard to the officials.
Good stuff.
So, yeah, I guess we'll see. We'll see how long I stay calm tonight.
Fall sports, how do they come out? I know we got volleyball starting district tonight.
District tonight against Bandera. They play at 6 at home. I think that's what they said at the pep rally. They play at 6 against Bandera, first district game. Coming off a huge win on the road, Salado. Huge win. I think they swept them, all 3 teams in 3 games, I think, in a kind of a difficult environment. Salado's a tradition-rich program, and played really well all the way around. So excited about that.
The fun part for me covering sports is we cover volleyball a lot more this year than we have in the past. But it's good to see the improvement. Boy, they are improving. This team is just improving every week.
Yeah, no doubt,
and that's exciting. That's
it is, and that's that's the great thing about what we do is that, that's what you want. We have goals in our program, athletic goals for our coaches, and what we want each program to do. And one of the biggest goals we have is we want to be able to look back on the season and know that we were better at the end than we were at the beginning.
Amen.
If you start out well and you get worse, that's not good, right? Now there are reasons for that to happen. Players can get injured, and there's things that can happen that can result in that. But if you can still look at player by player, are we better at that position at the end than we were at the beginning? Then we're accomplishing what we need to. And Coach Raymer's doing a great job. He's got them going. I expect him to make some serious noise in district. Certainly Wimberley and Bernie will be picked to win the district, probably Wimberley, I guess, because they're ranked pretty high. And so, but I wouldn't be surprised if we make some noise and knock one of them off or beat them both times or whatever. But it all starts tonight, and they'll follow up with the Teacher Appreciation Night on Tuesday at home. So that'll be a good deal for them. Team Tennis won their 3rd in a row district title. Who knows how many district titles he's won in Team Tennis. I know about 4 years ago, Bernie snuck in and beat us for the team title, and then I think we ended up beating them at region. But so they played Canyon Lake and beat them to go undefeated in the district cycle, and so they're tuning up for the playoffs. They won't play a by-district opponent because our by-district doesn't play tennis, so they advanced. They've already advanced past by district, so they're by district champions as well. The next round will be area, which is 4 districts coming together, the top 2 teams in 4 districts coming together. So they'll advance to that next level, and then if they win that one, then they go on to region, and then from region they'll move on to state. So defending state champions, right? They were state champions last year, so they're just doing a great job. And the JV, Coach Holmes doing a great job with the JV. They're battling, and to speak to the schedule, they play an extremely difficult schedule right now between the end of district and the beginning of playoffs. They always load up and they play all these 6A teams and these really good teams so that they can be better in the playoffs. And then cross country has done really well. This week is big. They're going to McNeil, which is hosted at Old Settlers Park in Round Rock, which is the site of the state cross-country meet. So this is kind of like a state preview for them. They get to run the course and be in the area where they do the state, and so and they're doing well. And then they'll come back, I believe, the second week of October and have their district meet during the middle of the week, and then we'll see how that goes from there. But they're doing a good job. Coach Aldridge has got them rolling, and pretty soon we're going to be starting basketball. So I mean, this year goes by pretty quick. So
it is.
October is when we start basketball, so it's almost here. So everything's going well, man. I can't, I say this every year, but Fredericksburg High School is one of the coolest places to be. It's just a neat thing. So many kids actively engaged. This morning, our pep rally was awesome. Kids were getting after it. It was a clown theme. The kids were painting faces and all this stuff. Our Education Foundation, shout out to them. New organization, couple years old, in the making. God, they rewarded $50,000 this morning, probably 16, 23, close to $50,000, I would guess. Yeah. They awarded to teachers who wrote grants for the fall. That group specifically exists to support our teachers in supporting our kids. And so the teachers, they haven't done a fall grant yet. They kind of came online last year, and they started giving grants in the spring, I think, and so maybe 2 years ago, but they didn't give grants last fall. So this fall was the first year they were able to give grants in the fall, and so we had several teachers at the high school that were, and it was really cool. They came out and they had the checks with they spelled out Billies, and teachers came down and they gave them a check for $20,000 or $16,000 or whatever. So in all the different programs, it's academic in nature, and so it's a really cool deal to help us. Kind of their deal is to help us bridge the gap between what the state takes away from us and what we ought to have as a district, right? That's kind of what their job is, and they've done a good job. Tony DeCuffa is kind of the lead guy on that deal, and there's a lot of community members in that thing, and so they've done a really good job of supporting our teachers, and so shout out to them. They got to do that today, and it's just a cool deal being at Fredericksburg High.
Blessed to live in Fredericksburg, Texas, USA.
Certainly are.
Without a doubt.
No doubt.
Let's hear it for Coach Lance Moffet.
Thank you.
Great job. Athletic director, head coach of Billy football, and looking forward to the game tonight.
Billy Nation.
Greyhounds.
No doubt. Should be a great game, great environment. Hopefully everybody will show up and be loud. We had to do some damage control this week. I want to remind everybody that a football game is supposed to be loud, right? So, and the kids love it, and the people love it. Sometimes the people who live around us don't love it as much because we've gotten this deal where our broadcasting group and our band have gotten really, really, really loud. Shout out to Jason. There was a couple times last week where I saw him. We caught eyes, and I kind of did one of these, and all of a sudden they got a lot louder. So he certainly understands that, and it's just a great atmosphere to play. So hopefully tonight will be the same. Sea of red and white and lots of noise.
You bet. Going to be a good one.
Yep.
And if for some reason you can't make it, we got it right here, TexasRadio.net, volleyball at united-live.com. God bless you, folks. Game day Friday.
Thank you again.
Yeah.
Thanks for all you do to support us, man. We appreciate it.
Well, we're honored to be here, honored to be a part of it.
Let's do it.
God bless you, folks.
Thank you very much.
We gone.